Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be continuing our coverage of this West Coast storm, which still could deliver up to 3 feet of snowfall in the Cascades. It has been dumping snow so far. We also have a low pressure starting to build in the central part of the country that may end up bringing some snowfall to the very deep south. Could see some snow in parts of Georgia, maybe even Alabama. But even the next storm system could see cities such as Houston and New Orleans getting wintry precipitation. And that is where things get super interesting, because I can't remember a storm that got snowfall that far south since Winter Storm Grayson got some snowfall in northern Florida a couple years ago. So let's get into the National Weather Service page. But first, if you like this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell. So let's get into some alerts here. So we do have a few more winter storm warnings, not as many as we did yesterday. We have a couple winter weather advisories in the plains, as well as in parts of North Carolina and Virginia. I think a little bit in Tennessee too. And then a winter storm watch is already in place in Arkansas. So let's take a look at the NAM, because the NAM has just put in this newest model run, and we can see some more of this storm. So if we click along here, you can see this low pressure here in Texas. Really doesn't get much until throughout the day. Today, later in the day, this is about, I believe, 10 a.m. East Coast time, which would mean that it would be 9 in the morning for you in the central U.S. And once that moves to the south, you can see Missouri, Arkansas getting a little bit of snow. Then you can see maybe even Alabama, parts of Georgia getting some snowfall there. This is now moving into Thursday, Friday time frame. You can also see that we get a little bit of snow here in the plains again. Once again, that'll be some light snow. I don't think there's much to worry about there. People in the plains know how to handle some light snow. Now, this is where the southern storm gets pretty interesting, because you can see that we're getting some pretty decent snow in parts of the higher elevations of Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina, and North Carolina. But what gets even more interesting is when it gets into more of these more populated areas here in parts of North Carolina and Virginia. There's still a possibility that right in here, even areas such as Raleigh, Charlotte, Newport, Richmond could see a little bit of snow out of this as it starts to move up the coast. And there's still a possibility that areas such as Cape Cod, parts of the Delmarva, southern New Jersey, and down East Maine could see a little bit more from this if this storm decides to turn to the north. Because we are going to be starting to see a nor'easter pattern take shape, and this is what we're going to be talking about with the GFS. So with the GFS, let's go to the forecast loop here. You can see that you have this storm system about the same as the NAM. Does have a little bit more snow in North Carolina though. Then it has this storm going out to sea. Next system comes in here, and you can see that it produces some snow in Texas down into Louisiana. Now this low pressure hasn't even formed yet, and it doesn't show it as forming, but I have seen some model runs in the past bringing a major nor'easter to some major cities. Something to watch. Now, we start to see that trend kind of weaken toward the end of the month, but we still start to see that trend of storms kind of going down to the south and then further north, and we could see a few bigger snowstorms because of that. And you see that the GFS has a little bit of snowfall in the northeast as well. Cities such as Boston and New York will see some snow out of that if that happens. This is very far out. This is the 18th, so you know, 12 days out. That's a little bit too far to know for sure, and the models have been bouncing back and forth. So we have a lot to watch in terms of, let's go to the European here. The European model shows that southern storm system also has a little bit more snow in more populated areas in North Carolina. That moves off to sea. Then it has this next system here bringing some major snowfall. See, this is what I'm talking about. They're going back and forth because the other day the European wasn't forecasting anything. This is a major nor'easter, but cities such as Boston, New York, Philly, and DC will probably not see as much snow from this since it takes that direct coastline route. So that the low pressure is just a little bit too close to really get those major snowfall totals in those cities. But we could get close. And let's actually see how much the GFS and the European are showing for that storm system. So you can see the European is showing most of those snowfall totals further inland, such as cities like Scranton, Binghamton, Albany, even such as Springfield, Massachusetts, and then the entirety of Maine gets a decent amount of snowfall. This is snow depth, so you can see that some areas get that snow to stick around for a little bit from the last couple of systems, but this just adds to the total. And you can see that most of that snow occurs right in here. Now, the GFS does have a little bit of snowfall in the northeast as well. Let's go to this and just take a look at that. You can see it's really not much. Now, in terms of that southern system, you can see that the GFS has up to 5-6 inches of snow in North Carolina. The European model has even more than that, maybe even 8-9 inches in North Carolina as well, even 6-7 inches in Arkansas. Now the NAM, we could check out the NAM here. Let's do that. Alrighty. And the NAM has some 6-inch snow totals in North Carolina. But again, the NAM has more snow in other areas here. So you have states like Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, even into West Virginia here. Actually, West Virginia is a different system. So yeah, basically this whole area here is that one system, as well as a little bit of snowfall here in the plains, up to 7-8 inches it looks like. So a lot of things to watch here. Definitely going to be an interesting month here. I think we are now in the prime of winter. We're just going to see a lot more storms. Now, if any of these get named, I don't know. If that nor'easter does happen that the European is predicting, that'll definitely get named. But I don't know if this southern storm is going to get named, just based on the small area of impacts that is currently forecasted. But we have to see. Next name on the list is Catherine. But that's all the information that I got right now. Make sure to keep checking in here for daily updates. We're going to be talking about this storm as it moves across the south, and then we got to talk about nor'easters. We got to talk about more mountain snow. We got a lot of things to talk about, so make sure to stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe, hit the bell so you never miss another in-depth weather video. And that's all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.